Nice front door, fine bead on the panels here, which is what you would expect to find from a Georgian door. And look at the thickness of that. I mean, that's quite a substantial door. Fantastic. Very nice, I like that. And also, while I'm here, bell pull. Two bells. It's a double whammy. So yeah, so we've got two bells, fantastic. And we've got a dado here and horizontal boarding on both sides. Fantastic. I like horizontal boarding, I have to say. I mean, you know, the Georgians, they may have covered it, and the Victorians would have covered it with wallpaper. It fell out of fashion. It was it's a way of kind of keeping the bottom half of the wall safe from damage, because the lime is quite vulnerable, quite soft. And we worked in a house in Kennington which was 1790, this is 1770, and that had horizontal boarding on it as well. But these are big wide boards, it's probably about 10 inches, same as the floorboards. So they just bang them along the wall unceremoniously. Wainscot panelling, at some stage it may have been divided, not this particular house, but the design has been incorporated to design panels and reflect kind of the bottom half of a panelled wall.
I know the owner said that he revealed or pulled this, you've got this distemper, which is pretty much the best they could get when they had a load of, was it gypsum over the top?
They have gypsum over the top, and they've taken the gypsum off and have done a paint finish on this, which is a lime wash, which is the traditional finish on it. And they've re-plastered it in lime, which looks fantastic. I personally love this. Some people might not, because they might want a perfect house. On this side we have a perfect house, because this has been painted, and it's, I'm not sure what we've got on here, I think this is a lime plaster, looks like lime plaster. But this is an external wall, because we've got the alleyway the other side. And it's becoming a bit more mottled as we go down. So I think what I would do out of interest, purely out of interest, is to take get a huge amount of tracing paper and trace some of this coloured markings that we've got on the wall here, and particularly down there in that section there, and then apply it to the other side just to see where the repointing has taken place, because on the other side it's been repointed in a lime mortar up to a certain point. And I'm just wondering whether the correlation of where it's been repointed and the previous finish that is untouched is affecting the mottled finish on this wall. And it may be because the top section from here up has been painted at some stage, and it may be trapping the moisture, or it might be doing something to the inside of this wall. When you're working with lime is always kind of its own beast, really. It's its own child. You have to look after it, you have to kind of nurture it, you have to kind of make sure that it's happy, that it's watered, that it's well fed, that the whole thing is kind of harmonious, and you'll get along fine. But the problem is if you're working on a house where the adjacent building has had some heinous crime done to it, like an external wall that's been painted with a vinyl emulsion, which is a rubber or a plastic, hence the vinyl, twice the amount of moisture has to come out the other side of the wall, and the lime will allow that to happen. But it means that you're suffering twice the amount of discoloration or problems on one side of the wall than the other. It has to be even. And this looks like there needs to be a little bit of kind of harmony between the inside and the outside wall. Not a problem, not a problem. On a house like this, I think this is a joy. It's a joy. Nice configuration of the door case. Here we've got a typical kind of 1770 to 1790, where you have the door has the wall has a depth to it. That's the width of a brick, so that's 4 inches, and then you have a door lining on the outside with a bead on the edge, flat section, and then this rather nice simple architrave on the outside edge. Very similar to, if you've seen the other videos of the architrave that we have at Goodwin's Court. This is 1770. Goodwin's Court, as I said before, is probably around about 1700 with an 1820 makeover.
That door's lovely as well.
This is absolutely fine. Yeah, door's a bit unusual, I have to say. Got a propeller blade down there, so I just moved that out. Quite nautical. This has got a nautical connection, a maritime connection. Isn't it? Yeah. Well, apparently, Well Close Square was known for selling all this kind of stuff back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Because we are so close to the Royal Docks, well, to the docks rather, which is St Catherine's Dock. The door I was just mentioning is unusual because you've got the centre rail of the door in near enough the right place. But in some houses, probably slightly higher status, they would have had a 6-panel door. This is a 4-panel door, so this might be a Victorian replacement, but is now part of the history of the house. And as I say, you wouldn't want to make any changes to this without listed building consent, and changing doors is part of the fabric of the building, so bit of a no-no. Lovely, Forbes and Lomax light switches, all in good order. Floor is straight, and what I quite like about it is the house is distorted, obviously on that far side over there. Floor runs down slightly, but nothing that would cause issues. We have had houses in the past where the floor is down by 4 inches across the width, and I've managed to raise the floor on one side and drop it on the other, so that it's not quite so hideously uncomfortable. But this is fine. This is fine. I see we've just been joined by a cat down here. So hello. We like our little animals, don't we? Yes, you're lovely. Come on, we can show you around at the same time.
This room is a beauty.
Again, we've got the door case here, exactly the same, absolutely fine. We've got horizontal boarding on the staircase. Just love this. This is just so nice. And then you've got panelling on the back of the house there. Stair treads have just been waxed, and there hasn't been an overzealous case of taking off all the marks on the staircase. And you can see where the lino would have been at one stage, and then they've removed that and they've painted the risers. Treads would have been timber, and someone's painted those in dark brown. So these have all got part of their history to them.
This set of steps is the one that's got Victorian treads laid over the top. The Georgian ones are underneath.
I think so. The Georgian ones must have been quite worn, and there's some evidence of it there on the nosings. And then they've had a later staircase put on. And here you can see this first tread. You're a bit nosy, aren't you? This first tread is a riser is from here to here. Is slightly higher than the other treads. It's not noticeable. I mean, I don't think it'd be a trip hazard if you're coming down in the dark. And I think to compensate, they've got these rather nice nosings on the side of the stringer. This is the stringer for the staircase. Very nice. I like it. Everybody's saying, "Oh, he knows what he likes and bangs on about." I love it. But I do, genuinely, honestly. So we'll go into this room first, which is the front room.
This door,
incidentally, is the same as the back door there, so I suggest that these are probably original to the house. And the paint looks on the inside, now that I look at it, the paint looks like it's always been married up with the frame and the door. And this has been paint scraped, so it's just got all it's just got all the modern paint taken off, and you've gone back to what is the lead paint, which is here, which is great. That's fantastic. Lovely, and it's been painted in, as far as I can understand, sympathetic historic colours. We have a bell pull over here, which just goes downstairs. I think if you wanted servant, you'd go, but sometimes you might go, and you get the bell. But hey, it's a little bit of later decoration. Nice fireplace that's been introduced at a later stage, but it's very much like the Spitalfield type of stone or cast fire surrounds with them open. More propellers. Here it would have had a hob grate, and we'll show you the hob grates as we go into the other room originally. But this is perfectly adequate, and I would imagine that all the flues are open.
They are.
Yeah. So you can burn that if you feel so inclined. Check first of all smokeless fuel legislation and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think burning 6 logs is going to destroy the planet. A little bit of modernity, if you want to talk about modernity while we're here. Apparently the slot in the window case at the top is for a screen that drops down, and then behind us in the ceiling we have a projector, which is, I think, quite clever, and it runs off of some kind of units down here, some magic box down here in which you can watch all your television channels. And then you have it on the screen here, but it does mean you don't have a television in the room, which, I mean, I don't mind having a television, providing it's only a little weedy beady diddly thing.
And also, it's nice that it's not secondary glaze, but a nice layer, just a simple layer of perspex on the inside just creates that secondary glazing feel just
well, it keeps the heat in. You've got a radiator underneath here as well, big cast iron radiator, so you want to keep as much of this heat in as possible. So you've got perspex over the windows, which works perfectly well. You can secondary glaze these windows with storm glazing and various other types of glazing, which are internal shutter sashes in glass that rise or open and close, or you take them out and stand them in the corner of the room during the winter. But this is quite neat because you don't have to touch it. And when we're doing it, as I've shown you in previous ones in Cookways, we put little bits of neoprene rubber in all the joints so that you don't get any drafts and you keep the heat in, which is the main thing. Nice shutters. And you've got a shutter bar here that just slots in above here. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, really
lovely.
nice.
Very nice. Yeah, nice detail. And I think full credits to the homeowner. He has done a brilliant job. Probably better than I could do, actually, to be perfectly honest.
I think you need to open.
Yeah.
We'll do that before we go.
You don't know how to open and shut the shutter. Let's leave it. Hey, let's move on. We'll do when we go. I promise we'll put the house back to good order when we leave. So nice. Panelling. Panelling is wainscot panelling again on the inside, and here where you've got straight planks on the outside. Here you've got panels, so that's a good example of a panel there. So we have a panel in here, you see it's got a rail around the outside. So this is a little bit higher decoration than you've got in the hallway, which is what you would expect to see. And we've worked on these panels, and interestingly, when you're doing the carpentry on these panels, to join the panels together, we can probably do a technical or a workshop day, but on the reverse of it you have a V-cut.
Oh,
yes. Is that just the one we're going to? Okay, just one bomb. You have a V-cut and you have a wedge that you slide down, and it tightens up these panels to hold them together. Nice bit of construction detail. We can show you that. The cornice was missing, and the ceiling's been repaired. I've got speakers in the ceiling here. Crikey, you could have a kind of bit of a session in here, couldn't you?
soiree.
Yeah. The cornice has been put in later by a master plasterer, whose name we can give you if you need a master plasterer, who's based down in Deal. Craig Lakin. Let's give him a credit. Yeah. Craig Lakin. Everybody loves Craig because he's such an honest craftsman and does such a lovely job. And I first met him when he was doing the ceiling in Fitzroy Square, Robert Adam building, yes, for the headquarters of the Georgian Group. Anyway, Craig's done lots of plastering for me, and I value his work, his craftsmanship. And here he's finished it, but obviously you've got a bit of a dilemma because the ceiling drops down by 4 inches across the width. So you've got your ceiling cornice set out here, and you've got your ceiling cornice set out there, but then there's going to be a difference between the two. So he's been very sensible, and so is the client, in finishing it at the architrave on the window and just leaving that section there without any kind of joining the two together, because they're not going to marry up. And it's an honest way of finishing a cornice. Very nice. 8-inch, 10-inch wide boards, original boards, I believe.
You didn't bring your...
I have.
Yeah,
I can tell you that's a 10-inch board, and I should just prove it, just to show how sharp I am. 10-inch board. Look at that. This guy knows his... No, I don't actually. I was here the other day and I measured it. This is the Swan's Basket hog grate. Really nice. Now, I think it might be the one upstairs was salvaged. Craig Lakin managed to salvage one from a building site in Camberwell Grove. I think it's the one upstairs. But this is a nice fireplace. There's a marble fireplace here. It looks old because of the damage on the bullseye there. This is known as either the target or the bullseye. Is it damage or is it just marking the... yeah, this has been taken out and been thrown away basically. I think it's thrown in the garden, and then it's carefully been put back together again. And this is something you can do if you have the patience and the skill, and you just kind of glue it all back together again. Sometimes you put a strap underneath to hold it, but this has been repaired. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pieces there that someone's carefully glued back together and put it back in its rightful place. And I think some of this stuff was found, some of these architectural features were found in the garden when the garden was lowered back to its correct height. It's nice to see it in there. I suspect, I'm not sure, this is quite a grand room as well, because we've got panelled in here as well, and we've got rising shutters in here.
Yeah.
So we've got nice detailing in here. So I would imagine that fireplace is quite correct for this room, but I suspect there may have been one similar in the front room rather than the slightly earlier style of fireplace, probably 1740. This is 1770, and this carried on into 1820s, maybe 1830s, when you've got this marble surround. Very nice. It's made up out of all different sections. So as I mentioned before, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So these are all different sections, and you get them all in that flat back, and you put them together with plaster of Paris and lime paint. Fantastic. Well, here we've got rising shutters, or vertical shutters in the books, which is quite nice. These are quite neat actually. And you can tell that you know this is your sash. These are your sash cords here. But if you have an extra set of cords, or the space for them, or importantly the pulleys at the top, and a reveal like this, then there's a good chance you would have had shutters like this at some stage. And you just got to be able to put them up, so they just rise up. So, beautiful, and they're beautifully balanced.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one, and then the second one comes up. And then sometimes you may have had a bolt that goes through to screw the two together, so it's security. And then you'd have a pin that would stop them from going back down again. So you could theoretically do that, and then lock them together. Right. So it's two dongs now. Yeah. So beautiful, you know, and they fit so well, and they're lovely. You know, really nice job. Really nice job.
They are balanced well, aren't they?
Yeah. And they've got weights in. Obviously, they've got weights inside these boxes here, both sides. And when you're setting these out, you weigh the shutter, and then you weigh the weights, and they should both be the same. And then you know they're balanced. And then you can record them. And when I say record them, I don't mean record them like we're recording. This is the cord. And that is so neat. It's lovely, lovely, really nice, really nice finish. Excellent, better than I could do that. Nice cupboards. So in here we've got all the books in this back room. So sitting room there, television, hi-fi, everything you need for your entertainments. And then you've got the dining area, and you've got your books here. Fantastic. And interestingly, no ceiling lights there. The Georgians wouldn't have had ceiling lights. They may have had candelabra and chandeliers, which they bring down here. We've got a very small set of lights here, which are candle. And there's no staining on the ceilings. That's quite good. Sometimes these have little canopy shades over the top to stop the smoke. But that's lovely. Just very nice, very atmospheric, I think, when you've got the candles and your security and your antiquated little world, and then you've got your modern world of television and hi-fi. Yeah, so you've got your modernity as well as your old bits.